You know what's funny? Most people never lose because they were weak. They lose because they quit before the fight even started. Yeah, you heard me. Every day I look around and see people talking about dreams they never chase, goals they never commit to, and lives they never take responsibility for. Then they act surprised when nothing changes. They point fingers at luck. They blame circumstances. They blame talent. They blame the world. Anybody but themselves. And that's the first lie that destroys them. The world doesn't care about your excuses. Nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody is secretly watching your struggle, waiting for the perfect moment to reward your effort. The universe isn't handing out trophies for potential. You either become strong enough to take what you want, or you spend your life watching stronger people walk away with it. That's reality, and reality doesn't apologize. You know why most people stay average? Because average is comfortable. People love talking about success until success demands sacrifice. They love talking about greatness until greatness requires pain. They love talking about becoming different until different means standing alone. The moment discomfort shows up, they run. The moment failure appears, they retreat. The moment they realize the path is harder than expected, they start negotiating with their own ambitions. Suddenly the dream becomes unrealistic. Suddenly the goal becomes too difficult. Suddenly they're convincing themselves that they never wanted it that badly anyway. Pathetic. You want to know what separates the people who win from the people who don't? It's not talent. It's not genetics. It's not luck. It's the willingness to keep moving when every part of you wants to stop. Anybody can be motivated when they're winning. Anybody can feel confident when results are showing up. Anybody can work hard when people are cheering for them. But what happens when nobody believes in you? What happens when you work for months and see no progress? What happens when failure hits you so hard that even looking in the mirror becomes difficult? That's where the real battle starts. And most people lose that battle before throwing a single punch. They convince themselves they're defeated. They create stories about why they can't succeed. They surrender mentally long before reality forces them to. Understand something. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your most dangerous enemy. Every day you're feeding one of them. Every excuse makes the enemy stronger. Every complaint makes the enemy stronger. Every moment of self-pity makes the enemy stronger. And eventually that enemy starts sounding like your own voice. It tells you to quit. It tells you to slow down. It tells you to settle. It tells you that this is enough. But enough for who? Enough for the version of you that's afraid? Enough for the version of you that's comfortable? Enough for the version of you that's terrified of discovering what you're actually capable of? Because that's what fear really is. People think fear is the fear of failure. Wrong. Most people are far more afraid of their own potential, because potential comes with responsibility. Once you realize how much you're capable of, you lose the right to hide behind excuses. Once you know what you're capable of becoming, every day spent avoiding growth becomes impossible to justify. That's why so many people stay distracted. Distractions are easier than self-confrontation. It's easier to scroll than to build. It's easier to complain than to improve. It's easier to criticize than to create. It's easier to watch somebody else's life than to take control of your own. But every day you choose distraction, somebody else is choosing discipline. Every day you choose comfort, somebody else is choosing growth. Every day you choose excuses, somebody else is choosing responsibility. And one day you'll look up and wonder why they're ahead. The answer won't be complicated. They paid a price you weren't willing to pay. That's it. People love seeing the victory. They love seeing the result. They love seeing the champion standing at the top. But they never talk about the nights when nobody was watching. They never talk about the exhaustion. They never talk about the loneliness. They never talk about the endless repetition. Success isn't built in moments of glory. It's built in moments of boredom. It's built in moments when nobody would blame you for quitting. It's built when you continue despite having every excuse to stop. That's where strength comes from. Not from winning, from enduring. Anybody can smile when life is easy. Show me who you are when life turns ugly. Show me who you are when everything falls apart. Show me who you are when failure becomes public. That's where character reveals itself. And here's something nobody wants to hear. The world will test you. over and over again. It will test your patience, your discipline, your confidence, your resilience, everything. Not because you're unlucky, because pressure reveals truth. Pressure strips away illusions. Pressure exposes weakness. And weakness isn't something to be ashamed of. Ignoring it is. Pretending it doesn't exist is. Running from it is. If you're weak somewhere, good. Now you know where to improve. The strongest people aren't people without weaknesses. They're people who stopped hiding from them. They looked directly at their flaws and decided to build anyway. They stopped waiting to feel ready. Because readiness is a myth. You think confidence comes before action? No. Confidence comes from action. You think courage appears before fear? No. Courage appears because of fear. You think strength arrives before struggle? No. Strength is created by struggle. Everything you want exists on the opposite side of resistance. That's why resistance feels so powerful. It's guarding something valuable. Think about that. Every challenge in your life is asking a question. How badly do you want this? Not with words. Not with intentions. Not with dreams. With action. The only language reality understands. Action. The only thing that separates fantasy from achievement. Action. The bridge between who you are and who you could become. Action. And here's the brutal truth. Nobody can do it for you. Nobody can suffer for you. Nobody can train for you. Nobody can discipline themselves on your behalf. This battle belongs to you. Always has. Always will. That's what makes it meaningful. The victory matters because it's earned. The transformation matters because it's painful. The growth matters because it's difficult. If it were easy, everyone would do it. But they don't. Most people choose comfort. Most people choose safety. Most people choose the familiar prison over the uncertain path to freedom. Don't be most people. The crowd has never been a reliable source of greatness. The crowd follows. The exceptional create their own direction. The crowd waits for permission. The exceptional move without it. The crowd searches for certainty. The exceptional act despite uncertainty. Decide which one you are. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Because every day you delay, you're making a decision. Every day you hesitate, you're making a decision. Every day you refuse to act, you're making a decision. And those decisions are creating your future whether you realize it or not. So stop waiting. Stop negotiating with your goals. Stop searching for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. The perfect moment is the moment you decide that excuses have taken enough from you. The moment you decide comfort has controlled you long enough. The moment you decide that fear no longer gets a vote. That's where everything changes. Not when circumstances change. Not when luck changes. When you change. Because the strongest force in your life isn't talent. It isn't opportunity. It isn't fate. It's the standard you refuse to fall below. Raise that standard. Demand more from yourself. Expect more from yourself. Become more than you were yesterday. And if the world stands in your way, good. Let it. A challenge is just another opportunity to prove who you are. So stand up. Face what's in front of you. Accept the struggle. Embrace the pressure. And keep moving. Because in the end, the people who transform their lives aren't the lucky ones. They're the ones who refuse to stay defeated. They're the ones who keep fighting after everyone else stops. They're the ones who decide that no obstacle, no failure, no setback, and no amount of pain will convince them to surrender. Be one of those people, and let the world find out what happens when someone finally stops making excuses and starts becoming unstoppable. Listen to me. Stop worshiping this ridiculous fantasy that you're gonna become perfect before you start. That's the scam. That's the trap. You keep feeding yourself the same pathetic story. I'll begin when I'm ready. When I'm smarter. When I'm stronger. When everything finally falls into place. Really? And how's that working out for you? While you're sitting there waiting for some magical version of yourself to appear, life keeps moving. Opportunities don't wait. Time doesn't care. The world isn't hitting pause because you're uncertain. Every second you spend hesitating, somebody else is charging forward with less talent, less knowledge, and more guts than you. You don't need perfection. You need movement. You need to stop acting like every mistake is a catastrophe. Get dirty. Get embarrassed. Fail. Learn. Adapt. The people who become exceptional aren't the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who stop treating failure like a monster hiding under the bed. They take the hit, get back up, and come back meaner than before. Think about every person you respect. Every person who built something powerful. Every person who dragged themselves out of mediocrity and became something more. You think they walked around overflowing with confidence? You think they woke up every morning feeling unstoppable? Don't make me laugh. They doubted themselves. They got rejected. They got mocked. They got knocked flat on their backs more times than they can count. The difference is, they didn't turn those moments into excuses. While everyone else was sitting around waiting for confidence to magically arrive, they were already moving. That's what you need to get through your head. Confidence isn't some gift handed to the worthy. It's earned. It's built. It's forged through action, through struggle, through surviving things that once terrified you. Every challenge you've overcome has already proven you're tougher than the version of yourself that faced it. So why are you still acting like you're weak? Why are you still letting an outdated version of yourself dictate what you're capable of? And maybe that's the real problem. Maybe the thing holding you back isn't your circumstances. Maybe it isn't money. Maybe it isn't resources. Maybe it isn't the people around you. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's the identity you've chained yourself to. The story you've repeated so many times that you've started treating it like truth. I'm not good enough. I'm too late. I don't have what it takes. How many years have you been hiding behind those lines? How many opportunities have you sacrificed because of them? And who exactly convinced you they were true? Because from where I'm standing, most of the walls trapping you aren't even real. They're mental cages built from fear, hesitation, and old failures. You've stared at them for so long that you've mistaken them for reality. But they're nothing more than rusted bars you've been too afraid to kick down. The second you challenge those beliefs, the second you stop bowing to them, they start falling apart. So what are you going to do? Keep chasing another burst of motivation? Keep collecting quotes and promises like they're somehow going to transform your life? That's not how this works. Nobody is coming to save you. Motivation fades. Excitement fades. Feelings change. Action is what matters. Results are what matter. Take a step, then another, then another. Build momentum so aggressively that your excuses can't keep up. Let your actions mock the doubts that used to control you. Let your discipline become so strong that your emotions stop calling the shots. And when life comes at you again, and it will, don't act surprised. Don't complain. Don't fold. Smile at it. Welcome it. Because every obstacle is another chance to prove you're not the same person you used to be. Every challenge is another fight. And as long as you're still standing, as long as you're still moving, as long as you're refusing to surrender, then the story isn't over. You're still in the fight. And that's exactly where dangerous people are made.